Well, good morning, everybody. It's Leanne Boyd, and welcome to another week's edition of your Cuppa Courage Tips. So, sorry I'm a little late this morning. I had to go and do the school drop-off, which was a little bit unexpected this morning, but yeah, here we are. So, this morning, I wanted to talk to you about self-sabotage, particularly around the feeling that I'm not good enough. So yeah, here we go. So I hope you've got your cuppa ready. Sit down for the next 10 minutes and listen to what I have to say about I'm not good enough, because it's really important. It's something that women suffer from a lot. It goes right back to centuries of suppression. We've carried that with us through generation, this feeling of I'm not good enough. Along with a whole host of other emotions that women have brought forward throughout the generations. And that's been very proven with the science of epigenetics. So, okay, here we go. Self-sabotage occurs for us when fear incapacitates our thinking. We feel stuck and we just cannot override it. Our thoughts keep telling us to be afraid, and we can even become quite paralyzed with goals that we try to achieve, and that's when we sit there and procrastinate and think, oh, I'll do that another day, or we put things off. It's our fear that's taking hold. I'm not going to be able to do this. I can't move forward. What if I do this and bad things happen? Or what if I do this and I fail? All these thoughts come creeping in, and they really mount up, and we suffer. Then that's what we call self-sabotage, when we actually can do things, but we keep telling ourselves that we can't. We start to then veer away from the things that we want in our life. We start to veer away from our goals, and sometimes it's self-conscious that we don't actually know that we're doing it. We've developed habits within our mind. Our self-conscious does kind of override sometimes what we say, do, and think. And sometimes it's not. Sometimes we actually know that we're putting things off, but, we just think that's just the way it is and I'll get round to it someday. I just want to let you know that self-sabotage, it's not just you. It's a natural occurrence for humans. It goes right back to the saber-toothed tiger days. It's our mind trying to keep us safe from anything that we perceive as a threat. Okay, it's a threat. We don't want to go there. It makes us feel less than. It makes us feel incapable of doing things. It is ingrained in our mind from right back to the caveman days. So, yeah. But I just want you to, there is a way to overcome it through Creatrix, which I do, and it's long lasting and it is fast and rapid. Yes, but your body in general is wired in such a way that it actually doesn't distinguish between a physical threat and a psychological threat. We just tend to veer away from it. The threats are there in our life on a day-to-day basis. Sometimes they can really play havoc with our body, with stress and anxiety symptoms, and then that goes straight down to our gut, and we end up with gut issues as well. So, but I just want to talk to you about today, because we've got about 10 minutes, the self-sabotage one of particularly I'm not good enough. Now, I do Creatrix on a regular basis, and because we all have our triggers, and even me, and I've done years of personal development. The mind is a muscle, just like the muscles in your body. If we don't exercise it, we lose a certain amount of fitness, and particularly when we have issues that are intergenerational and things that we've brought forward from past generations into this, may not even be ours, but they're still within our DNA. So last week I Creatrix, I'm not good enough, because, there are moments when I feel that too, and it's nonsense really, and I just want to get rid of it. So, but what came out for me, and it's so true, and I think, of course, that's it. I'm not good enough. When you say that to yourself, who are you not good enough for? Whose standards are you not good enough for? And it really boils down to yourself. You're putting pressure on yourself, saying, I'm not good enough to do that. I can't do that. I can't possibly do that. What was I thinking? it boils down to the standards you put on yourself. And I carry years of that. I grew up the youngest of 6 in a very competitive family, particularly with sport. And I used to get it from my brother and even from my mother sometimes. You're not good enough. What do you think you're doing? Why are you trying out for that team? And so on and so on and so on. It was always there within my family for me. So, so I carried that for many years and always felt like second best a lot of the times. So it pops up for me occasionally too. So as I said, I creatrixed it last week. And what came out, as I said, by whose standards? Only your own. You are good enough to do anything that you want. It's just may take time. Maybe you can't possibly be good at everything. So what you need to do, if you want to do something, go and find out a way to learn it and practice it. I watched a video the other day of a young autistic boy. He's in his teenage years and he wanted to be world champion cup stacker. Well, he tried, and that's very hard for an autistic child to get that coordination going so fast. And he had to stack two columns of 3 with 1 on top, and he did it. It took him 7 attempts at that world title, and watching him, he applied for every possible competition or a title within the world titles, and he muffed the first 6, and everyone was going, oh no, it's going to be next year again. But you know what? He focused and he nailed that 7th attempt, that 7th title that he was going for, and he became world champion. And he could stack these 7 cups in and up and down in 2 seconds flat. It was quite impressive to watch. So with moving that into your own life, if you've got a goal and there's something you want to do, put it down on paper, then work backwards. Chunk back on all the steps that you have to do to get to that goal. Because sometimes when we put a goal or put a project or something that we put out there, we go, oh my God, I could never do that. I'm not good enough to do that. That's just going to take forever. It may take a long time, but put it down and put down all the steps that you have to do to get to that goal. And then work by step, by step, by step. And you will be good enough to do whatever you want. It just may take longer than you anticipated. You may have to have a few goes at it. You may have to persevere. But that's where your resilience comes in and your personal inner strength comes in as well. As I said, you can do anything that you want. You just have to be patient with yourself to learn, to try, and to do. Because sometimes you just can't put yourself out there and do exactly everything you want to do right then and there. It's easy to walk away. It's so easy to walk away. But if you really, truly want something, I want you to know that you are absolutely 100% good enough. You've put that stop in your way, that I'm not good enough, because you've perceived something as a threat, right? And so then you have to step back, chunk it down, put all your steps in place and go for it, girl, because you can do it. You can do it. And imagine how great it's going to get. It's going to feel within you, within your heart, within everything that when you get that thing that you strived for. It's so rewarding. So, so you can toss that I'm not good enough out the door, because you absolutely are. And if you want a little bit of help along the way, pick a role model. Role models are great. I spoke last week about one of my role models when I was overcoming my shyness, and I'm actually quite the introvert, but sometimes I have to really go out there and put myself out to the world. And I always draw on Steve Irwin and Lady Diana Spencer, because they always went out to the world, shared their passion, and could meet and connect with people on such an even keel, if you like, an even standard that people could relate to. So they're my role models. So if you really want to achieve something, find a role model of someone that has achieved something that you want to achieve, or someone that you perceive as great, and look at them and use them and go, well, they did it, so can I. I am good enough. It takes 10,000 hours of practice to master something. Just remember that. So I always think of that because it stops me from being too hard on myself. 10,000 hours, that's a lot of hours to become an expert or a master at something. So you just have to plug away at it and just keep building and building on your skills. And before you know it, you'll have achieved that goal and you'll have everything that you want in life. So that's me for today. So thanks, Linda. Thanks, Tracy, for watching. I hope you've got a lot out of that. Just remember that there is nothing that you cannot do. You are amazing, fearless women. So go out there and do life the way you want to do it. So thanks for watching and have a good morning. Thank you. Bye-bye. Until next week. And I'll be back talking more about self-sabotage again, and we'll choose something, and we might even go into stress and how stress affects our body next week. So see you then, and talk to you soon. Bye.